Hi guys, this is Klazart bringing you another audio commentary, a DOTA commentary, and I always win, says Corrupted at the beginning of this game. Bold claim to be making before the game has even started and you know nothing about your teammates and all the rest of it, but some people like to do that. Enchantress, why? But anyway, I decided to do a Dota commentary again because it seemed like you guys enjoyed it. I thought this might be fun. This is, of course, the Smack Talk edition, so I've got to warn you guys, there's going to be some foul language coming up at some point. If you guys start wondering when is the Smack Talk going to start, when is it going to happen, all I can tell you guys is be patient, it will come, and it'll be worth the wait. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it, although I'm sure you guys have seen plenty of Smack Talk in your gaming lives. But, some of you guys, there were a lot of comments made, a lot of questions asked. I'm not going to be able to get to all of them, but I'll try and get to a couple through the course of this commentary. Some of you guys asked why I don't do a pro Dota game commentary, and I guess you guys must be wondering if I'm doing another one, why I haven't chosen to do a pro game right now. And I think the answer to that question can be best explained by a YouTube comment in the VOD, in the previous VOD that I posted, and this was made by a user called Timmy Timmons, and he said, and I quote, "There is a reason for that. They are horrible to spectate, since there is so much positioning and the fights are so short. Really, this is the first time I've ever seen it work, and that's just because Klazart pretty much does it from a narrative position about his own character. In a pro match, that kind of favoritism would alienate the fans of other players and seem incredibly biased." Yeah, so I mean, yeah, a couple of things. I am playing Dota. I am doing a couple of Dota commentaries right now because the StarCraft scene is a little bit slow. There isn't really a lot going on in the StarCraft scene right now, and so I thought this would be a fun and interesting diversion to do. Meanwhile, just pointing out, Manaroth Pitlord actually just buying a ring of health at the Spectre shop, and this game is actually played ARS. So some of you guys wondered if the last game was easy mode. It was not. It was all pick normal mode, and this is all random, where basically your heroes are selected at random. I like playing all randoms on public servers because you start out with 800 gold instead of with the regulation 600 gold if you choose your own hero, and that allows you to buy a little bit more items, because the magic bottle that I've bought, which is a little blue thing that you can see in my inventory, costs about 600 gold on its own, and I also bought a couple of additional tangles, and you might feel that the tangles are kind of overkill with the magic bottle. Meanwhile, this is the Batrider who's going to be my opponent in the mid lane. He's bought a ring of regen and a boots of speed, and the moment I see that, I think to myself, this guy's not a very good player. I'm not saying I'm a great player, but this guy is really not a very good player, because those kind of items in a normal game, which is not easy mode, they just don't work, because the amount of regeneration you get, especially on a, I mean, you can get a ring of regen on some heroes, but on a hero like Batrider, a ring of regen is never going to work that well in mid lane, unless maybe you're a really amazing player and can make it happen. I'm also trying to do a little bit more last hitting in this game. Some of you guys were crying a little bit about that, so a little bit more last hitting, although I tend to not bother with it once it gets into the mid game, because I feel at that stage it doesn't really make too much of a difference in public games, so I do try and do it a little bit early on. Not sure why I went into hiding in the forest there, but yeah, so I like random games because they allow you to have a little bit more cash, and you can see that this guy's already taking a little bit of damage, and he doesn't really have any healing items, and that's going to hamper him early on in the game. I generally don't like going middle with an agility-based hero, although Venge is ranged and is actually quite solid in the middle, and he's got a fast attack animation, so you can actually last hit pretty decently, as you can see I've been doing. And again, I just wanted to point out at the top right corner, you see the creep skill, which normally shows the creep skill for the player, but for some reason in replays, it doesn't seem to work that way, so the score that you see at the top right, at the very top of the screen, is actually reflecting Blue's score and not mine. Just for anyone who's wondering. Now I'm going to just try and take this Batrider down, couple more hits, but unfortunately he manages to get away because he does have those boots of speed, so they're good in terms of allowing you to get away, but now he's going to have to go all the way back, and you can see that I've removed the Fog of War there, and that he's having to go all the way back to his base to regen and get some items, because if he comes in close to me again, I'm going to be able to take him down, because my magical bottle, what it does is, and yeah, I'm not sure what's up with this Slick the Kid guy and what his problem is, but clearly a very disturbed individual. Anyway, the magic bottle, what it does is it gives you a brief burst of mana and health, gives you a small amount of mana and health regen each time. It has 3 charges that refills automatically every time you go back to your base, to your fountain, and it also allows you to store these magical runes that appear all over the map. And you might have seen me at the beginning of the game checking at the middle of the river to the left-hand side to look for the rune. Now I'm looking here at the bottom right, just removing the Fog of War, and the rune's actually in the opposite place. So there are 2 spots where these runes spawn, and they're basically buffs that they're basically temporary buffs, and there are various kinds. There's the haste rune, which is the one that's there right now, which obviously I didn't spot because I went down, and I went down for a second look for some reason because I don't know, my screen was dark or something, and I thought maybe I'd missed it or wasn't paying attention, so I went back for a second look there to try and see that. But yeah, on the question of pro Dota, I have to agree with what Timmy Timmons said. I don't think that Dota is and I'm just now showing Batrider's here. He's just about hit level 4, and that was probably only because I actually went down. I've actually hit level 5, so I'm a full level ahead of him, and he's really getting destroyed at this point in time because he's just not lasting it, hitting at all, and not making any attempt to last it. And unfortunately, as much as I find the last hitting aspect of Dota to be a little bit tedious. Personally, I just enjoy the tactical teamwork and strategy element of Dota. That's my favorite part of the game. I don't find the last hit element to be as enjoyable, even though I can do it a little bit. I just don't find it to be that it adds that much to the game, even though it is one of the things that adds, I guess, a skill factor to the game, physical skill, as opposed to tactical skill. But you can see that you have to really these days do the last hitting, because if you don't, it means you fall horribly far behind. Now, once again, I'm going after this guy. At this point in time, I'm not really going to be able to kill him, so it's kind of pointless me going there. But at the very least, the stun, chase him away, which once again allows me to kind of free farm a little bit, and means he's not going to contest the creeps. And it's again just pushing him back, cementing an advantage. In that respect, Dota is a lot like StarCraft, in that you have to build your advantage over time, and every little victory adds to that. And once again, showing you his hero, his 4.5 levels up. Whereas I'm level 6, so I'm now 11.5 fully ahead of him. Level 6 means I've got my ultimate, he doesn't have his, which puts him in a very precarious position against me, and really gives me a good chance to pwn him. Now, at this point in time, I could have probably swapped him into my tower and pwned him there, but I actually probably had enough mana for a swap as well as a stun, so I don't know why I didn't go for that option. I guess I was just pulling back from the creeps and didn't anticipate that he would actually chase all the way within range of the tower, and so I didn't do that. So now I'm going to go and check the rune, and this time I am going to find the haste rune, which has still been sitting there. And that's the other aspect of playing in the middle in Dota. If you don't contest the runes, it really puts you in a horrible position. And this guy, of course, he doesn't know about that. He's probably not played a lot of Dota games or decent level Dota games. I have played some in-house, so I kind of have a little bit better idea. Now I'm going to rush, and I've got the haste on, so I'm moving really quickly, which is going to make it really incredibly hard for him to escape me. I'm also able to use the bottle to recharge my mana. I used a swap there to pull him back as he was getting away from me. Now I'm taking damage from the tower as well as the creeps, but I know that I just need to get another stun. I just waited for my cooldown, got a stun, finished him off, and got first blood. And that was excellent for me, because that you can see now I've already got 970 gold. Very early on in the game, and now I'm almost level 7. Going back to check and see if there's another rune there, because I replenished the bottle. And this is the beauty of the runes, because what the runes do is they give you these little buffs. This time I've picked up an illusion rune, which you'll see me use shortly. But what the runes do is not only do they give you this temporary buff, but they also refill your bottle after you reuse the rune. So with an effective rune, fighting in the middle, it essentially allows you to have a lot of mana to fight with continuously throughout the game. Now, again, when this game started up, Dota, the problem with all random, the reason a lot of people don't like playing all random in pro games is, obviously you might get a hero that sucks, although I think most heroes are fairly balanced in AP mode. In non-EM mode, I think the heroes are pretty well balanced, but you could have an unbalanced team combination, which can kind of suck when you get that. You might have a team that is, like our team in this instance, had no intelligence heroes, and I felt that the other team's combination was probably better if they were better players, but when players are horrible, that really doesn't make a difference. At this point in time, I don't know why I didn't swap him. I think I'm pretty sure my ultimate was on cooldown, otherwise I would have swapped him in the range of the tower and he would have been dead. And that was a little bit of a waste there. I should have probably used the illusion rune before stunning him to get maximum damage on him. But I've done a little bit of damage. You might have noticed that he's been forced to buy healing salves. Healing salves, I think, they're okay, and he's been using them to try and stay in the fight, but the problem is now at this stage he's level 5, I'm level 7. Now I swap him in the middle of creeps, and I just didn't have enough mana there to stun, and I miscalculated the amount of mana I needed there, because what happened was I swapped him into the middle of my illusions trying to kill him. Now I'm going to once again stun him and try and take him down. He manages to evade by using his bow, so that's the first time he's actually used a decent ability to evade me, and the mistake I made there the first time around was that I didn't calculate. I was about, I think, 5 or 6 mana short of being able to stun as well as swap. So I swapped him in, but wasn't able to stun him. Meanwhile, Corrupted, the player who made a claim early on in the game how he was going to pwn everyone and he was going to win, and he always wins, manages to get a kill on one of his opponents down in the bottom left-hand lane, And now, once again, I'm going back to check the rune, so I really should be laying a lot more hurt on the Batrider than I have been. He's managed to get to level 6, which is great for him. Now I'm immediately using the rune as well as the bottle, and I think maybe I overestimated how crap a player he was, the Bat Rider, and I thought he would just sit there and let me kill him. So I'm being a little bit more careful this time around. I'm coming around the back. I've let him come forward in the middle of the river, so he's gonna have a long way to run to get out of range from me. Immediately stunning him, doing a lot of damage with the illusions, chasing him down. He's trying to get away, but this time I used the bottle as soon as I cast my stun and attacked him, so I was able to replenish the mana that I needed to take him down and to use my ultimate to swap him back within range and kill him. And the Bat Rider, tired of getting destroyed, left the game, and not surprising. Meanwhile, looks like the Venomancer, Corrupted, gets another kill and barely survives, something like 5 or 6 health remaining on him. So that was a good kill, but it's always a mistake to hang around once you've gotten a kill like that and you've got very little hit points. And if you look at the minimap, you can see Teal in the forest behind him, and Teal managed to get a kill, and that's the Pit Lord again. He probably used his Firestorm to get a kill. All he needed was one hit from his Firestorm on Veno, and he managed to cast that and get a kill. And Spectre obviously celebrating that. Now, I have put subtitles in this because this is a Smack Talk commentary, as there will be some Smack Talk coming, you guys. And so I wasn't sure how the YouTube resolution would work out. I'm playing around with the settings when I'm recording these VODs to try and get the mix right, because as I said, I'm not used to recording from replays. I usually record from VODs that are pre-made and have a good balance to them in terms of resolution and text and all the rest of it. So yeah, so that's why I've decided, because this is Smack Talk, to include the subtitles. Don't expect me to do that again, because it actually turned out to be a lot of work to add the subtitles to the video before I record the commentary. Now this time PA getting owned again by Venomancer and Enchantress, trying to chase the Enchantress down to take him down, almost kills the Enchantress, but unfortunately gets taken down by Veno. And that is kind of the teamwork in Dota. And the Mortred, the PA, Phantom Assassin, crying about getting killed, complaining that his teammates didn't warn him that Venomancer was missing from the bottom lane, and so therefore he did not expect that ambush coming up. To be honest, I think it's a bit of a lame complaint. He should have been able to look at the minimap and see that there weren't a lot of players, but I guess sometimes when you're concentrating in the heat of the battle, you don't really see it, and so it's understandable. Pit Lord obviously defending himself, saying, well, the player had just died. And usually after you've just killed a player, you do give them kind of 15 to 20 seconds to get back there before you save miss. Remember, it can take a little bit of time for them to spawn as well, then run down to the lane. But I don't know. I think it just depends on Vent. I think you should know that a player's died, and you should be a little bit more aware in general. I think that was just Mortred being sore because he died. And he's as I said, this is a Smack Talk game, and I don't want to ruin it for you guys by giving you too many previews. But one of the things I did want to ask you guys in terms of the commentary, do you guys mind if I remove the if there is no in-game audio in the VODs, because it would be so much easier for me just to record a commentary direct from replay using Fraps, and then I wouldn't have to go and redo everything 2 or 3 times and all the rest of it, and the resolution would probably be a bit better as well. So let me know what you guys think about that. Now I've gone back, I've replenished my bottle, I've bought some items, I've got my Boots of Speed, I've got a Point Booster, which some people might think is an interesting item, and now normally when you're on Went, you can just say, alright, let's gang him, and if you're playing with good players, I'm going to swap the Veno into the range of the tower and stun him. He's still in tower range, he's going to die instantly. He managed to get his ulti off before he dies, and meanwhile the Enchantress focusing me, but I was able to heal myself with a bottle. Void comes in, gets his ultimate on Enchantress, which prevents him from running away, and I finish him off with the nuke. Now, some people might feel that was a little bit of a kill steal there, but again, the Enchantress could have gotten away, he could have used his heal and survived that way, and so I wanted to make sure that he died and wasn't able to escape, and the Void was happy enough with my contribution there. I don't think he felt that I stole the kill there. I think he felt what I did was necessary. Now some people might wonder why I'm getting a point booster on Vengeful Spirit. Point booster basically gives you something like 200 hit points and 150 mana, and the reason I get a point booster is obviously I'm going to try and build a Scepter, which I think is actually a really good item on Vengeful Spirit. And again, it depends on the sort of game you're playing, but I like the point booster because it gives me that extra amount of mana, as well as giving me a useful item later on. So that's why I go for the point booster, because now my mana pool is up to 566, which allows me to stay in battle a lot longer, use a lot more nukes and swaps, and it just makes me a lot more effective a fighter all around in the game. So I like that point booster item, and I do like getting a Scepter on heroes where I think it works. Now picking up the double damage rune, which by its name you can guess is hugely useful, and I'm just trying to look to try and use that rune effectively and look to gank, and I see these kind of creeps up near the tower, and anticipating that maybe one of my opponents might try and come and farm, and when they push out I'll be able to take them down, but then I spot a battle raging on at the bottom lane, so I'm going to go and try and help my teammates there. Spectre almost getting killed there. The Spectre, the hero, Pit Lord, seems to be okay. So I know he's going to be able to support me. There's Dazzle and Venomancer in the bottom lane, and I'm thinking I'm gonna try and get another kill here, try and perhaps take Venomancer down, asking the Manu up if he's ready, and just waiting for them to get in range of the tower. Now rushing in, I've activated my double damage rune, I've got enough mana, I've got decent amount of health. Gonna go focus on the Veno first, which was probably a bad idea, swapping him in, but Dazzle immediately heals him. Veno uses his ulti. And I think I misclicked there and ended up walking to Veno instead of attacking him because there were a lot of creeps around him, and that was a pretty big fail, and you can see me crying about that. But that was quite horrible. But I think that even if I had done kind of stuff right there, I probably would have got... I think I stunned him pretty much straight away, but it's just I didn't then click on him to add the damage, and of course the tower wasn't focusing on him because the tower was hitting the creep, so that doesn't help either. Now the Juggernaut coming in, trying to take the Pit Lord down from behind using the Blade Storm, and Pit Lord using the Grave Spikes, the Graveyard Spikes to entangle the Juggernaut, and I didn't realize that they worked on the Jug even when he was using his Blade Fury, so that's really useful to know that that actually works, because generally the Juggler is immune to any sort of spells when he's in spinning mode, but clearly in that occasion that wasn't the case. Now the Pit Lord running away from Jugger, just trying to get in range of that ulti. He manages to get his ulti off, almost kills the Pit Lord with a little sliver of health behind. The Jugger really wants that kill, but the Jugger taking damage from the tower as well as the Spectre goes down, and that was pretty ownage play by the Manny. He just kept the Juggler interested there. He didn't run away when he had the chance to. He just stayed and stayed and stayed. Now I'm coming in trying to pull in the Dazzle. Meanwhile, got a swap on him. And here he's going to waste his Shallow Grave, which basically prevents him from dying straight away. And he wasted it there. So now that I've got him down, I'm going to be able to finish him off. He did manage to poison me, but I'm going to be able to kill him. He's not really able to escape me. My damage output is too much great for him just on his own. Veno now coming in with the poison. I don't know why I ran back up there. I guess I don't know why I ran back in the wrong direction. It was a silly thing to do, but I think I was going to probably die there either way because Veno used his ulti as well as his normal poison on me, which does a lot of damage quite quickly, especially on a relatively low hit point hero like the Vengeance. I'd already lost about half my health taking down the taking down Dazzle, taking down the Shadow Priest, who's actually a pretty good Scourge healer. And now the Veno goes down, killed by Spectre and Phantom Assassin. So kills and attacks being traded right now, and I'm obviously pleased that they managed to take that Veno down. But yeah, coming back to the whole issue of pro games, I know I keep starting to talk about it, but action happens and I get distracted. The reason I don't like commenting on pro Dota games is that actually, personally, even though I play a lot of Dota, I've tried watching pro Dota games, and I actually... watching a full hour-long pro Dota game, I just didn't find it very enjoyable to watch, to be honest, guys. And I don't think that, in that respect, Dota works as a spectator sport the same way that StarCraft does. Because, literally, you could be... first of all, where do you focus the camera? There's no clear focal point of action a lot of the times, especially in the early mid-game, where you might be looking at one lane, where everyone's laning against each other. You might be watching, say, the bottom lane, and someone might get killed in the meantime in the middle lane or the top lane, and you've missed that action. And then what happens inevitably is that the fights happen all too quickly. You just have this positioning and positioning and positioning, then you have this burst of activity. Now this time, a good move by the Juggler. He managed to get a Blade Fury off before I can get in range to stun him after the swap, and he's trying to get away, but he's nevertheless going to get stunned. He's going to get taken down by a combination of PA and myself. Void jumping in to steal the kill at the last hit. I don't think that was necessary with the double damage. I guess he didn't want to waste it, but it doesn't really matter because he helped me get a kill earlier on, so I don't really mind too much that he kind of stole that kill. Either way, PA might have gotten it anyway. But yeah, so I don't feel that I'm sure there might be some other commentators out there who do a great job doing Dota commentaries and make the game quite enjoyable to watch. And Dota obviously has a big fan base. People do watch the replays. And again, this guy, I don't know what's up with him. He just seems to be a little bit random. But yeah, so I personally just don't feel that making a Dota replay of a pro game would result in something that would be that much fun to watch. Although it might be great as an educational tool, as a tutorial video, I think it would work much better if a pro player made a commentary of themselves playing and kind of talked about what they were doing and why they were doing it. And I think even as a tutorial video or as a skills video, that would work much better. I think Dota highlights videos work quite well, but the amount of work that goes into them is insane. To try and compress an hour-long game, perhaps even if you were just doing the one game and compress it into a highlight video, you'd have to watch the replay several times before, and all the rest of it. So for those reasons, I don't personally feel that pro Dota really works as a watchable esport, and I'm sure I'm going to get flamed a lot by the Dota fans for saying that, but that's just my opinion. And I've watched a lot of esports. Now we're just coming in, and Enchantress did say he wanted some more, so now he's going to get it. He wanted it, he got it, he died, he goes down, and yeah, and now he's crying about it. So You can't. Well, Dota is a team game. The whole objective is to try and maximize your numerical advantage, and that's something that we do have on our side. We remember the Batrider left, so it's 5v4 right now, which does give us a huge advantage, and we're going to obviously exploit it to take our opponents down. Now, it's not an unwinnable situation for them. 4v5 you can win. I've won games 4v5 before, and it just depends on how well you play. But you have to play well to be able to win it. You have to play intelligently, and these guys do have the right hero combination because they've got good int heroes. The thing that they are lacking actually in the main is a tank, and I think in that respect it falls to the Jugger perhaps to try and kind of build maybe more tanking items, or well, the Enchantress could do it as well. I think the Enchantress with the right kind of items could potentially tank a little bit of damage, especially with the heal early on. The Jugger now just trying to take that tower down. PA jumps in, teleports in to try and kill him, but the Jugger with his Blade Fury almost takes the PA down, but I've been coming in from behind because I spotted him going on the tower, and I'm able to comfortably finish him off. Now, I wasn't trying to steal the kill there, I was just auto-attacking him. Perhaps I should have pulled off that auto-attack, but PA was quite hurt, and I wanted to make sure that the Jug died. Meanwhile, we're seeing some more crying from the Enchantress because they try to ambush him at the top, but this time Dazzle manages to rescue him and come out with his own heal. He manages to escape. He's got decent items, he's got treads, and he's got a dull talisman. Meanwhile, I've got my treads up, I've got my point booster, I still got that Slippers of Agility that I bought earlier on, but I haven't built a Wraith Band, and that's just because my cash flow has been good. I don't really have a set formula for items, I just kind of go with the flow and see how I feel in terms of how the game is progressing, in terms of the items that I choose to buy. Sometimes I would buy if I was struggling for cash or struggling to get last hits in and being hounded a lot and getting killed, then I might go for a Wraith Band earlier. But because I was able to afford the good items, I'm going to get them right. And the mistake I'm going to make right now is I've got 1,000 cash. Actually, I didn't make that mistake. I got 1,000 cash, and you can see my 1,000 cash went down to 100 because I just bought an item in my base as part of my scepter. I think I bought an Ogre Axe right now. And now I'm just going to go hunting. I've gotten a little bit of cash. I've farmed some creeps. I've bought my item that I wanted to buy. I'm just going to go around and see if I can find any of their heroes wandering around the map that I can ambush. I see 2 at the top anyways. It's not going to be them, but maybe I can catch the Venomancer or the Jug. But unfortunately, that's not a good idea because I'm going to run into the Jug out in the open. And as you guys saw from my previous one, it's going to allow him to nuke me. But luckily, he's only got level 1 ulti, so he only got about 3 slashes, which wasn't enough to kill him. And I was hoping that he would follow me there because I could see on the minimap my teammates were arriving. Now the Jug is in a little bit of trouble, trying to Blade Storm out of range. I'm just trying to get a range to get my swap in. I couldn't do it, obviously, when he was ulting. I managed to get my swap in, but the Jug, instead of running away, chooses to stay and fight. I think he had an opportunity to run away. Manaron comes around from behind, we stun him, he dies, and that's gotta hurt. He could have done it. He could have done better. I think he had a chance to escape, and the Uber Pro corrupted Venomancer, obviously not happy about the situation, asking us to boot the Jug, which we can't obviously do in the middle of the game. I think actually you can. I think on this server, this is the PGC server that I was playing on this occasion, which is a public server. I think if you go vote kick name of player, you can actually vote to kick the player, but it has to be a unanimous vote, and you always have one person who won't vote in that sort of vote, and that never happens. But if there's an admin, obviously they can kick the player from in-game when it's hosted by Pickup List Checker, which obviously wasn't the case here. Well, actually was the case here, but there wasn't an admin. So now I've got my Ogre Axe and my Blade of Clarity, and this is the reason why I like the Scepter, because it gives you +10 to all your stats for a hero like the Venge, who's kind of a relatively low HP hero. It's nice to get all the stat boosts. It's nice to get the stat boost from the strength item as well as the point booster to get the hit point boost, as well as boosting your agility, which increases your attack speed and your damage. You know, obviously you have more mana as well. So I really like the Scepter. I think it's a great item, and especially on heroes that it actually works for. I think it's a great item to get first up. And there are a lot of heroes that I like to get the Scepter for first up. Now I'm just going to go around and try and check the runes again, even though my bottle is full. I'm just trying to check and see if I can get a little bit of a boost. Meanwhile, the battle happening in the middle, and I'm signaling that the rune is top to my teammates. You can see the Venomancer's already got the Claymore and the Oblivion Staff, so he's almost got his Lothars, which would allow him to escape from battle. Meanwhile, these two guys in the middle, we're going to try and ambush them. Void comes in, gets his ulti off, and that's going to be painful. Now, I'm just standing around doing nothing here because I don't want to, first of all, steal a kill, and I don't want to waste any of my nukes and spells, just in case someone else comes in or one of these guys tries to get away and we can get a kill on them. And that's why I held back and held back. When I saw the Enchantress was trying to get away, at that point I used my nuke. And I think it's important. A large part of the quote-unquote tactical skill in Dota is just about timing and decision making and deciding when you're going to use which ability, and that's personally why I really enjoy it, and trying to synergize your abilities with that of your teammates. And now again, Dazzle, and this is why Vengeful Spirit, my hero, is such a dangerous hero, because its ultimate literally swaps your enemies right within the middle of your teammates, and there Dazzle just had no chance. He was just trying to come in, defend his tower a little bit, which seeing us there, he should have probably stayed a little bit further back, stayed out of range of my swap, and it was a silly mistake of for him to make. And there you see the advantage of me having preserved my abilities early on in the fight, because I could have spammed my abilities if I wanted to, but I did. Now the juggler coming in with the Blade Storm, and again he's going to be a little bit of trouble. I'm just trying to get in range for the stun, and I managed to get the stun off, so he's going to die. He's not going to be able to escape. Vino coming in to try and counter. We're going to try and chase him down and take him down. Enchantress there to help him out as well, and I was just waiting for the cooldown on my stun to finish, but unfortunately it didn't happen, and then I decided to pull back because I didn't really want to die, and my teammates were pulling back, and one of them had died already anyway, so I managed to escape luckily because I wasn't focused on by the towers, and just about get out of there. But yeah, as I was saying, if I wasted all my cooldowns earlier, I wouldn't have had that ultimate ready to use when I needed it. So I like, and now Venomancer crying, saying Zeus ulti now, and goodbye Pitlord. He left there. He could have stolen the haste rune there, but he left it for me since I have the bottle. Now I've just used up the haste rune. I'm just going to try and see if perhaps I can gank someone who's maybe low health coming around, using my bottle to recharge my health, but it's a little bit risky because I don't have a lot of health. Now I'm looking in the middle trying to find someone to gank, and I spot Vino and Enchantress. Vino is half health, and I know he's used his ultimate not too long ago, so I might have gone for him if he was by himself. I think I would have probably been able to take him down, although the creeps would have helped him, but with the Enchantress there, it wasn't going to work out, so I'm going to go back to the base instead and try and recharge my hit points there, and meanwhile, and pick up my Aghanim Scepter as well, which is going to dramatically improve my ultimate cooldown and make me incredibly useful to my team, allow me to just get the heroes in there on a consistent basis. This is the Phantom Assassin, by the way, Mortar, for those of you guys who don't know. Even though he's not invisible, I think that the shadowing actually works really, really well, because in a huge battle, when there's lots of creeps around and lots of heroes going in and spells being cast, if he comes in kind of late into the battle, or even after the battle has already begun, it can give him a few free hits before people start targeting. Normally, you want to take the Mortar down first because his damage output is absolutely insane. So you do want to try and target him as early as possible. But sometimes, but it can be difficult in those fights if he comes in, and if he can get a few free hits, he can essentially take someone down before they even have a chance to kill him. Just showing my score there as well. I think I ended up with 11-2 in this game, or something like that. Now coming in, the Dazzle trying to get away, just managed to get in range in time, get the stun, and that's going to finish him off, unfortunately. The Enchantress is there as well. Vino comes in to help him. Enchantress gets snared by the Pit Lord. Vino, meanwhile, taking damage, taking the Vino down. I'm not sure if my ultimate is available, but I get the stun off on the Enchantress, and now focusing the Vino down as well, and the Vino dies as well. Their entire team getting killed in that engagement. They're really trying to focus me down now because I'm consistently disabling them, so they don't want to leave me alive in the fight much longer. But plus, I also took a lot of damage from Vino's AoE poisons as it was. Again, just going to try and check a rune. This time I'm being a little bit silly. I mean, even if I get a rune, I'm not going to be at full health. I'm going to probably end up having to go back to the fountain anyway to recharge, so I should just go back to the fountain. There's no point just standing around the middle, walking around, getting runes right now. I might as well go back to my fountain. Although you never know, I mean, you might spot an opportunity, there might be a fight happening somewhere, and you might be able to assist your teammates. So there is something to be said for kind of being active and being out there on the front lines in the field of battle, where you might be able to assist your teammates. And Venomancer is starting to get a little bit frustrated here, as you can see from his comments. He's starting to feel that perhaps this game he's not going to win as he always does, and he's starting to get a little bit irritated about that. But to be honest, you know, I don't really believe in flaming, guys. I don't like to flame. I don't like to smack talk. I just like to play the game and, you know, let the game speak for itself. But sometimes I just get irritated with some players, and I really don't like players who brag and who basically smack talk needlessly, especially when they're not that good. I mean, the Venomancer is okay. He's nothing special as far from what I can tell. And the Juggler, well, yeah, he seems to be a little bit, let's just say, not the smartest Dota player on the planet, because he's bought a Mask of Madness, which is a reasonably kind of advanced item, but I don't see it as being useful on the Juggler, because the Juggler spends a lot of time Blade Furying and Blade Storming and spamming his ulti, and he's not going to spend a lot of time auto-attacking right now, and the Mask of Madness, basically what happens is when you click it, it gives you a boost to your attack speed. I mean, it can be useful, it's very situational, but I think on a player like the Juggler, I don't think it's a good item. But if you really wanted lifesteal, I could go with maybe getting lifesteal on him, but he should have just gone for a Dominator Helm, which would have given him a nice armor boost as well, if you really wanted to get that, as opposed to Mask of Madness, which I think, and Dominator Helm obviously is very useful for Jug because it scales up later on into a Satanic. Now, I was trying to not kind of come in here too early, because I figured I didn't want to let them know that we were all coming in for the gank, but then I realized that everyone was going in and they were all probably going to come in, so I decided to come in. So I'm going to enter the fight a little bit late. Meanwhile, the Juggler, trying to get some assistance from his teammates, the Void managed to use his ability to jump into the battle and sneak in ahead of me, takes the Dazzle down, now the stun, and their entire team gets wiped out in that fight from our entire team, and we didn't lose a single player, and that's quite painful for them. Meanwhile, the Pit Lord being quite smart, teleporting both the teammates, because he does have that ability, remember, his Rift, that allows him and anyone near him to teleport back to base after kind of a 2 or 3 second delay once he casts it, and use that to get both the Spectre as well as the Phantom Assassin back to the base to allow them to heal, for which they both are expressing their gratitude. At this point, the game is pretty much over. It's 5v4. We're owning them. We're dominating them. The score is ridiculous. And I've had enough of the Vino smack talking, and I feel it's time to give him a little bit of his own medicine. And the Vino, he doesn't want that medicine. He doesn't like it, but I'm going to make him hold his nose down and make him swallow it nonetheless. And I just opened up the chat log there to try and show you guys the chat log, but it didn't work. The log obviously doesn't show the chat in the replay. And yeah, the Vino getting a little bit of a taste of and the beginning of the smack talk. And really, I normally don't go in for this kind of stuff, but I just hate it when players talk crap at the beginning of the game about how amazing they are, especially when they're not that special or that amazing. And when that happens, I usually wait till later on in the game, till after I own them, to then kind of bring it up again. And now, once again, I'm just trying to set up an ambush here with my teammate, because I know they're going to try and push down the middle lane, which really they should be much more careful about. We know, realizing that he was potentially going to get ambushed there, pulling back, but a second too late, saved there by the fog, and getting the stun off, and just managed to get his Lothars, which I think he should have used a lot earlier, but the Spectre managed to, both my nuke and the Spectre managed to hit him as he went invis. I think that might have actually caused my nuke to miss, but you could see that we could see where he was, and he's now revealed himself. He hasn't gone back because there's a big fight happening. They're trying to ambush our teammates. I always try to focus the healer down first whenever I see him in a team fight, because it's crucial to get him down. He managed to use Shallow Grave correctly this time around, but that's only going to buy him a couple of seconds, and then he finally dies. Now I'm just running around trying to avoid the focus fire while my teammates deal the damage, and now I'm going to get back in the fight, get a stun on the Venomancer, take him down, he dies. Now, in an actual proper pro-level team game, that fight would have happened a lot faster, and that action would have been too quick to cover. But once again, most of their team gets eliminated, gets taken down, and Vino acknowledging that his unbeaten record is going to come to an end, unfortunately for him. And now the smack talk is going to begin in earnest. I just try to tell him, I'm just trying to flame bait him here really. I really want to get him raging. And I just love doing this to players who like to talk crap, and Vino trying to defend himself, trying to explain rationally. I've got to give him a little bit of credit for not completely rising to the bait, but really, any sort of response from him is not going to be good enough, and I'm really trying my best to goad him into some sort of flaming response. Meanwhile, the Dazzle flaming the Enchantress, who we remember from his randomness early on, not too happy about it, the flames in general, feeling the flames might be directed at him, responding in turn, and it's now it's on, guys. It's on now, even though the game is pretty much over. Dazzle, I've got to give him credit for actually trying to use punctuation, which you guys can see he's done a little bit. Enchantress still continuing with this smack talk. Interestingly enough, I'm surprised that the Enchantress didn't turn on his teammate there, Dazzle, who told him he sucked. But he's too... And actually, yeah, there you see, Enchantress is too dumb for this game, and Urinero, I'm not going to read out the rest of that message. Enchantress too busy typing out in all caps, carried with hyphens in between, now sees... the comment made about him, although he doesn't seem to respond. At this point, I would love to be able to read their ally chat. I would love, and now it's on, guys. It's beginning now. Dazzle's comment. At this point, I actually thought that comment was directed at me. I didn't realize that actually this is their own little squabble spilling out into all chat between the Enchantress, Slick the Kid 93, and Garazol Slurpa A, and they're now degenerating into insulting each other, which is absolutely brilliant. I love doing this. I love it when you can actually goad your opponents into turning on each other and start smack talking each other down. I think that's just absolutely hilarious. It's just so entertaining, and I know I'm a wanker and an ass for doing this, but I don't know, I just enjoy it so much. I wasn't really trying to get these guys involved in a smack talk. I was just trying to focus the Vino, who knows he's in a losing cause, and he knows that there's nothing he can really say. So he's actually doing the smart thing, and props to him for not getting sucked in by my baiting. But unfortunately for the other two, they got sucked in, and well, you know, while there's entertainment to be had, I'm not going to refuse it. So yeah, just continuing down now, trying to provoke these guys a little bit more while we take them down. The Dazzle going down there, getting ganged, and now I'm able to use my ulti to once again focus that Vino down. At this stage, it's just a matter of when they leave and how much torture we can inflict upon them, because this game has been over for the last 10 minutes at least, if not more. Jug trying to use his ulti. out of range, but he's just not doing enough damage. He's just too low level, and we're too strong the item for him to actually be able to do any damage, and he gets taken down. I did a little swap there, hoping to get him out of range of the Spectre and maybe get the killing blow on him, but unfortunately wasn't able to do that. And now they're actually resorting to use the lever, which is the Batrider, trying to control him. I'm surprised they didn't do that earlier, trying to bring him in. Once again, swapping in the Enchantress. They're trying to focus me down here. The Dazzle coming in, trying to heal that Enchantress. Enchantress dies. Batrider using his ultimate on me, which he never actually used when he was actually in the game, and they're trying to take me down. Dazzle really wants to kill me because of all the smack talk that's happened, but unfortunately we're going to actually be able to stun him and take him down, and he dies instead in the end, and it's going to give me an opportunity to flame bait him a little bit more. So anyway, guys, I think that's pretty much the gist of the smack talk for the most part. Oh, there's a little bit more, looks like, still remaining. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this commentary. A little bit of a departure from what I'm used to. I won't be doing too many of these smack talk videos, but I hope you guys enjoy that game nonetheless. Yeah, I just find it just incredibly, I mean, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, but I just find it incredibly irritating when people talk about how amazing they are in a public Dota game, playing with randoms, and oftentimes they do it when there's 2 or 3 or 4 of them on Ventrilo together, playing against people who are obviously, who've never played before together, who are uncoordinated and just noob bashing, and I find that incredibly irritating when people do that, so I thought it was a good opportunity to get a little back on this occasion, and took it. And I found it incredibly entertaining. I hope you guys did as well. Thanks for listening, guys. This is Klazart.